We're just going to read through the questions that we have quite a bit here, and we'll allow the panelists to answer, and then if the audience member also would like to contribute, just go ahead and throw a hand up and you can call on whoever. So the first question is for Anne Marie. You mentioned success events. Do you partner with anyone on campus for these, or is it solely through the library?
Some are solely through the library, others are partnered. We have done many things with there actually is a Department of Student Success on campus. We've done a lot with the Success and Retention Coordinator. We've done things with just about any department on campus. Partnerships are good.
Go ahead, Brianna.
So partnering with the Student Success Center, are they still in the library, or are you doing them in the Student Success Center?
Both. In many cases, we're trying to do it outside the library just because we know that that's where students are doing a lot of their work. And the Student Success Center, they don't always do things there either. Sometimes these partnered events are done in the lounge near the cafeteria or in the, in other rooms on campus. They're not all in the library and they're not all in the Student Success area.
Any other follow-up for that question? All right, no. All right, the next question is for Tara. How long has the multimedia department been working with the library to record events, and how do you get the initial buy-in so that they will work with you?
Let's see if is it coming out? Okay. We've been working with, I think, probably, it's been a long-term relationship. They've been recording events, I think, at least 10 years. On and off, here and there, little ones. In the past 2 years, we've had a new person take over our multimedia department, and we've had some different changes in that department, which they've really tended to customize a lot of what they're doing to a lot of the needs that we've had, too. It's really allowed them to help us even more. So it's been a long-term connection, but really recently is when we've been really developing that a lot more. And what's the second part? Sorry, is there another part to that question?
How did you get the initial buy-in so that they would work with you?
Now, I don't know about the initial buy-in. I think that's just it's a campus expectation. Our campus does a lot of recording of events overall. So I think that's just an expectation that's been set. And initial buy-in wise, I wouldn't know. It's probably before me. But right now, we just really work with them a lot. We pay for a lot of the equipment that they get and that they use in our spaces. So we're paying for that, or it's coming out of a request for annual funds that we put together with them. But we collaboratively build plans together, like with our Center for Teaching and Learning, Multimedia, and the library, all put in a request to purchase these mobile media labs together. So it wasn't just one department saying, here's the stuff. We worked on it, it came together, and then we put in a request for the money, and I think it was like $10,000 to do the 3 different sets, possibly, maybe less, but about that range is usually the max you can request for annual funds for special projects like that. So, did you?
I know what you're saying about the library is a place to create content, but do you foresee in your organization the marriage of the media center with the library? Because that would give, I think, better control for the students, you know?
Right. We see that as a possible, we want someone in our library that has a lot of multimedia experience that would work closely with them, but I don't think that we would be putting those two departments as under one area. They're under IT right now, and I think that they have a lot to do outside of the library still. They still work in the classroom. They record faculty lectures in their own classrooms too, and help them with that. So they're pretty, they do all the virtual signage too, like they man the virtual sign, so they do that for us as well. There's a lot that they do outside of us, so I don't think we would see that coming together, but I do think that we just have a great relationship with them, and I think that really building that has made a huge difference in what we can get done. Yeah.
Who's responsible for archiving?
Archiving.
Log, the videos. If you put in the catalog, then that implies preservation, doesn't it?
Kind of. We don't have a specific like archivist in our library. What we're doing now with the events and when we're cataloging them is that they're Troy's usually posting them. Troy Swanson's posting them on our into our feeds. But we have cataloging librarians that actually physically catalog them themselves. So that's us maintaining that. We're making sure that those get put in the pipeline and people get notified, and that our catalogers get ready to prepare those and put them in
I'm
the
just
system.
wondering when it's
Yeah.
a move into the institutional repository, which is a larger issue. So,
Yeah, and I think we think that that's separate right now, because sometimes with our content, we're making sure that some of this content is good now, right? And we want to use it now, and we don't want to probably keep everything forever. It's not possible. So, and especially with the changing and like, you know, the bit rate that you'll see over time, and if we're changing different, from different formats. But right now, we are not looking at this stuff as something that we're going to keep forever. It's stuff that's relevant for the next, you know, maybe 5 years that we're going to be using in coursework. It's relevant now. Things just move so fast now that we can't keep everything. So if it's pertaining, you know, directly to the institution more so, or pertaining to something big in the library, we'll probably try to keep that overall. But right now, we're still dealing with years and years of video that the college has that we're trying to upgrade from VHS. We did find some beta tapes too, you know, so it's yeah, so that's some old stuff that we're trying to even catch up with, that multimedia is working with us and the videographer for the campus and the library together, yeah.
I saw a hand up over here.
Yeah.
Speaking of putting the podcast and the video in the catalog, are these resources accessible outside of Moraine Valley? Like, is it accessible across Carly then?
Yeah, well, we are our own catalog.
Okay.
So we run our own system. We
Okay,
have our
so
own
you're
server.
not in iShare?
No, we're standalone
Okay.
because
Okay.
we get to do stuff like this.
Got it.
So we like to highly customize our system, so we're still standalone.
Got
It's expensive to be standalone. It's not easy, but there are a lot of benefits, and we've really invested in that so far. We like dump our patient records into our system from colleague.
it. Mhm.
You know, we've created an API to do that, but that would keep us from getting into a system like that. But you could access them from our catalog just publicly
Okay.
if you were to go to Moraine Valley's website, or you could subscribe to our podcast
There you go.
through iTunes.
Okay, thanks, Tara. The next question is for both Anne Marie and Tara. So information or the internet is a mile wide and an inch deep. Student tech skills are often an inch wide and a mile deep. So how do we bridge the gap between those two realities in the time that we have with them? I hope I read
All
that right.
35 seconds that we have with them?
Yeah.
It is a challenge, and at Kish, that's one of the reasons why we started getting pushy. No. The idea of going to the cafeteria and going to where they're hanging out and getting them to use these resources through whatever device they have. That's one of the reasons behind the fact that we're doing that. Because if you ask them to show up in the library, again, their attitude is that, you know, that's kind of a last-ditch hope. Like, after they've done all the research, and they still need something else, then they come to the library. So we've had to respond to get their tech skills and their information literacy skills by going to them where they are.
Right now, we're, as many of you may know from last year, I think, we're built into our College 101 course with a session. But really, that's just a general overview of the library and basic information literacy, searching skills, and our catalog, our systems. So they at least come into the library once. They're required to. It's part of their grade. So they come in with that. But really, I think the best way to really build their skills, I guess, when talking about their skills, is to make it important to them, right? So working with the faculty members that say, this is the type of research I expect, this is what I need you to do, and having them come in. I know not everybody has that buy-in. It's not, like, you can't just say, oh, then great, that's an easy answer, let me just talk to a faculty member. No, it's not simple. It doesn't just happen. But really, once they come in with their class, and they come in multiple times, we even just make our labs available for them to use if they want to. Like 2 days before, you can reserve one of our labs if it's not being used. Getting them physically here makes them comfortable with their space. Once they're comfortable with their space, they're comfortable asking us questions. But I don't think you can really force them to learn anything. I've had students in my classes type papers on their phones and try to submit them to me. I won't take a paper on a phone typed like that way. But if you increase their interest or whatever they're doing, if they're creating their own content for their own blogs or what they're doing on the side, then they might learn those skills and increase their usage in other parts of their life. And that's the only thing that I think we can hope for with that.
I want to follow up a second with Anne Marie and hers. You mentioned that you're going to them with their iPads and stuff like that. But then you also mentioned like the problems like with the 3 different platforms with the ebooks and things like that. How do you get the students going, well, it's just easier for me to go to Google anyway. Do you still get some fight from that? Because of some of the technological challenges that we have within the library?
You get a lot of confusion. You get a lot, I mean, they want to use the ebooks. I mean, it's not that they want the 1,000,000-page brochure that's an inch deep. They actually want some content. They just seem confused as to how to easily get it digitally. Because the expectation that they have is that it will be digital. I'm typing my paper digitally, the information should be digital. And they just don't have time to figure it out. But they want it. So that's one of the reasons I think we've had some good luck with the bring your own device sessions and other things. They're like, oh, I get it now.
Okay.
The resistance, quite honestly, has been more from faculty. You can take a faculty to the web page where they create their login, and they still don't have time.
Right. Well, I work at Kishwaukee as well, and like often the one-on-one interaction with someone who wants to use an ebook is held up when they start trying to download the app that they need and the Wi-Fi is not strong enough.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what we say is, okay, let's walk to this spot where there's a hot spot and download this app, and in 5 minutes I'll come back over and check on you. And so I've done a lot of that. And so once that app is downloaded, and that's what I tell almost all of them who say ebook. I say, once your app is downloaded and you create your account, it's very easy, but let me help you with these first couple steps. So when I offered the ebook workshop that you saw the flyer of, I actually went to an ESL class before the workshop to make sure they all had accounts. So when they come to the workshop, they're already with their accounts ready to use it. And that was just one way. So like finding where the internet is to get those apps downloaded is the main hurdle, I think, with this. Because they do want to read the ebooks a lot of times.
Okay.
Teresa, I was going to jump to your question because I think it's kind of relevant to at least the smartphone issue, but I can't read your writing, so if you would want.
Actually, it pertains to Anne-Marie,
Yes.
but maybe to Tara as well. Just speaking about the roving reference
Yes.
style, the first thing that jumps at me is does this redefine, from your perspective, does this redefine space? And what you just said about the students not going necessarily to the library unless they must, then is the library justified to be isolated in a sense? And then I'll go pile a little more with that.
The library is still a very usable space, and we still have a decent gate count for the size of the population we have. But again, they're trying to access research information from they don't come to the library to sit down at a computer and search the OPAC. That's not their mindset. Their base setting, I guess, is to think that if they pick up their tablet, they pick up their iPad, and they do a search, probably in Google, that they're going to get ebooks, that they're going to get scholarly articles. Somehow they think that it's all supposed to be there magically, automatically. And so by doing the roving reference and helping them see that they can get to these resources in the way that they seem to want to, digitally from home or from the cafeteria, that the library is bigger than just the physical space it's in, that they have access to these resources if they use the right app, or if they go to the library portal page and use those resources rather than searching some other way. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I hope you did not misunderstand me when I said isolated, that then maybe the library could be more dispersed, where the students hang out, I guess.
Yes, yes.
And
Well,
so
the
that
library's
justifies
everywhere.
your roving.
Some of my most successful roving reference ships are actually at the circulation desk of the library. So instead of, I'm there, so because the circulation desk is right in the front, so that's the first point of need. So instead of saying, oh, okay, you have a reference question, so head all the way back to the library. I'm right there with the iPad ready to help them. And we also have a computer lab in the library that there's a much larger computer lab on the other side of campus, but more often than not, ours is always full in the middle of the day because they know if there's a printing issue or they can't log into or they can't open their D2L document, there's a librarian there, whereas at the computer lab with IT, they don't always have someone staffing it to help them with stuff. So our computer lab is way more used than the other one. And then just being at the circulation desk, I've found is really successful for us to like work in tandem. So I work with one circulation person and myself, and I'm there with my iPad. And as soon as I see a reference question coming, I can go with them to the right spot, whether it's upstairs to look for a book or onto the databases. But I really like being at the circulation desk actually, because you can just address those questions so quickly, and those students are like, wow, their service is like, they're getting their answer right away instead of being sent somewhere else. So.
But yours is, if I could jump in, yours is more decentralization. It's not just at the circulation. I love what you said, you're where the action is. But I think what you're getting at is it's more decentralization. So it's maybe outside of the library. So could you comment on that?
Yeah, like, you know, where you have these areas I'm more familiar with Spartan, and where the students hang out, and maybe that's more the library is, instead of for them at Parkland, if you're familiar with it, you have to go upstairs. So you have to enter a different space. Well, my question was here, but I have to go there. And you know that sometimes we don't want to make that effort.
We have students that text us, and we get a lot of text messages that we address questions that way. They don't even kind of come upstairs from the basement of the library. They'll just text us, and we'll answer it.
May I jump in? I guess I kind of have a question too. I'm curious, so when you're in the cafeteria taking reference questions, what kind of questions are you getting? Like when students come up to a roving reference station in the cafeteria, what are they asking?
My experience has been essentially curiosity. It's not that they're asking for something specific, like I need information on a certain dog breed. It's not a typical research question. It tends to be more how to use the technology, how do I access from home. I tried to go to this place, but it looked like I had to set up another logon and password, and it asked for my barcode something, and I wasn't sure if that was my ID number or this. I mean, they're use questions.
Right.
Tech support questions on how to get the library resources, not so much on a particular information need. But it does create users.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a question for Tara then. Do students follow/read your blogs, and are your events in the library successful, and how do you promote them?
Our events are I'd say pretty successful. We have a monthly gate count of about 60,000 students in our library, and our FTE is just under 10,000. Our total patron count is probably our total student head count is about 17,000, around that area. So we get 60,000 visits a month on our regular interim months. It's pretty busy. So we are the place to hang out on campus over the student union and stuff. For some reason, we're the place to be. I'm just looking for my numbers on blog. So I have some statistics for you guys, because we're all pretty nerdy here. So we have about, let's see, for our blog posts, we have, let's see, our website has $35,000 we get paid for each one, guys. 35,000 site visits per month and 50,000 homepage visits. So that means they get past that first page, 35,000. Our news blog gets 900 views per month, and our research blog gets 1,000 views per month. And I attribute that greatly to the fact that we're feeding them into Facebook, so we get about 300 views on Facebook per week, so about 900 a month, so if you average it out. And then Twitter, we get 600 views per week, and we get 9 to 10 links that are followed through Twitter. So our faculty members have Facebook pages. Our faculty members are friends with the students on Facebook. It's pretty normal on our campus, actually, because they don't post personal stuff really that often, or they have separate profiles. and the students follow the faculty members on Facebook and on Twitter. And they respond to them that way too, and our faculty members follow us, they repost things, students see it from them. So we see that our faculty are our main entry into connecting with students again at that point. They don't know us, why should they trust us, right? They don't, I mean, with the library we have an official name, but they trust their faculty members because they know them better. And that's how we're connecting with those through that. And where YouTube, I think it's about 2,600 a month for views. I wonder if I finished the question.
Okay. Anne Marie, this next one is for you. Can you tell us more about your Pinterest page?
Yes. Rebecca Hodson, who's here, has been putting those together for us. Again, we didn't want it just to be a collection of books the library owns. We wanted the Pinterest boards we created to also be the kind of graphic, engaging items that the students like too. So we have a Pinterest page that's about our college prep, college life area, which is essentially devoted to student success. So it has the items from the collection, and it has some of the books featured in that board. But it also has a lot of those infographic study tips and other things that are helpful to students. So we wanted to make it a blended mix. And then, oh gosh, what do we have? How many?
Followers?
Yeah.
Well, we have almost 650 now, which is nice, way more than our Facebook.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of librarians and libraries that follow us as well, but I know that there are a lot of students that come in. We'll usually link the Pinterest to the Facebook to kind of like cycle that. Other things we do is I have like a Kishwaukee College history board, so images from the library has the archive, so I'll upload some of those archival images. For that, I'll do the library event, so since I also plan the programs, every time I'm taking a picture of an event we hold, or if I have a flyer to promote, I'll also put that on Pinterest. And then I'm very much into the infographics, so I have like infographics of interest, and then just for library specific, and then seasonal ones are really popular. So I just recently did my Halloween board that had like book related Halloween things, and then the other one is the Heritage Month, so like Latino history, Black history, women's history. I have a board for each, and then I've got a digital collections board, so like New York Public Library has like the Biblion and like all these kind of new digital collections, so I try to have that available too.
And we have found that many faculty are enjoying the Pinterest boards. They view them as the same way we used to do the paper pathfinders 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Your little list of books with their call numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing their students some of the Pinterest boards for the same reason, but it's a graphical interface. So here's tips and tricks. Here's a list of books.
And with cover images, you can directly link to your catalog, so I like to think that is one less step they have to follow. So they see the image of the book they're into, they click that image, and bam, they're right on that ebook checkout screen or that catalog screen. So that is something I hope is like a nice, easy way, instead of having to go back and type in a search. They just click that, and that's how Pinterest works. It's not just images, but they link to something almost always. So to have that like easy, quick step, I hope is helpful for students.
And I just want to plug Rebecca also. So next Friday during our virtual day, she'll be teaching a session on how to create infographics for your library. So if that's something that you're interested in, next Friday, it'll be fun. So. For Tara, do you have issues with stepping on the toes of other departments when you take on these other?
I decline to respond. Yes, obviously. So stepping on the toes of other departments. Well, right at this point, it's become where multimedia is working with us so well that for the reporting part, they actually like that we're willing to take on some of those reporting responsibilities. It's a lot of work for them. It's a lot of time. That's why we've been purchasing new hardware to help us record it ourselves and let it automatically kind of load to a thumb drive that we just take back and load on our computers. We're getting to that point. We're almost there. Right now, we just have someone that plugs in the camera and it's set to go. We don't have to run cable anymore. We wired the whole area. When it comes to stepping on toes, we do it a lot. But I don't know if we really stepped on any, we don't really go beyond our space, right? Or things that we sponsor, or things that we've been asked to sponsor. People always want us to host their events in the library because we are the popular place to be on campus, so people see the events more readily. Right now, no, really we work hard to collaborate up front, though. So if we're doing a student program, we work with Student Life to get the buy-in with them too, and they usually do an associated program where they work with it. Now we've brought Student Life fully into our One Book program, and they always participate with us at this point. They do their fall festival themed on whatever we end up picking the One Book to be, which has been great. That was a big transition when we did the World War Z One Book, One College. That's when they started really hopping in on the bandwagon with us for that. And then, sometimes we would potentially have problems with our videographer for the campus, who does like all the official videos, but really we don't, because we get along with them so well. We really spend time making sure that they know up front. Giving people a warning, letting them know what's going to happen, will save you a ton of trouble later on than just doing it and saying, oh, we're just going to do it, we're going to go ahead and move forward. I wouldn't say we probably stepped on toes that we don't even know about. Maybe people don't tell us, but we try hard to just get people to buy in, because we need all the support we can get on campus. We need everybody else to be excited about it too, so we do that up front, and it helps prevent that a lot.
The next question was unmarked, so both of you feel free to answer. And then they're bullet listed, so ADA or ADA?
In our rush to be content creators, what I didn't hear was, are your digital objects ADA compliant? And where is copyright going? You said that you're only going to keep those things for 5 years. I think most of the institutions, the faculty members, the institution owners, what they would create, that's not universal, but I think it's widespread enough that that's an issue. And it's probably, you probably didn't think about it, because I'm like you, excited to create these things. So I was just wondering, you didn't mention it, the Digital Copyright Act is all over the place. Mark yesterday even said, it's not, those laws aren't keeping up with the technologies, let alone what's being created. So
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask.
We've been in trouble already. Because we like to get in trouble and sometimes deal with misconceptions, right? So we've been in trouble with YouTube before. We had an event, I think it mentioned there was a song playing in the background for something else, and it was like Thriller or Michael Jackson something. And of course it picked it up like nothing, and it blocked our account, and we were banned for like, I think 2 months, and we contested it, and we won. Okay. But